Good afternoon once again. This is Brother Darren, Hebrews 9 verse 27 and John 3 verse 16, YouTube. Today I wanted to do a bit of a follow-up, an addendum to Diversas and Matthew 24, just to look at some other verses that support the identification as, or should I say the identification for the Roman Catholic Church as being part of an apostate church in specific, which in Revelation 17 and 18 is identified as mystery Babylon, which rides a beast, a seven-headed beast. So the scriptures that I'm going to look at are, well, Daniel chapter 7, which is the vision of the four beasts. Also 1 John 2 verses 18 to 19, Revelation 17 verse 18, and Revelation 18 verse 13. So when we are looking at Revelation 17 and 18, we get a harlot that is identified, mystery Babylon the Great. And this harlot, as probably identified best as a sort of socio-political, religious entity that rides the seven-headed beast. The seven-headed beast is a composite beast of previous empires identified from Daniel 7, and those empires were Babylon, Persia, Greece, and then Rome. So the history of it is that, Babylon were conquered by Persia, Persia were conquered by Greece, and Greece by Rome, and Rome was the ruling empire in power at the time that Christ was alive and when he was put to death. Revelation 17 verse 18 identifies Babylon as being the great city that ruled over the earth. And at that time, the city that ruled over the earth in Christ's time was Rome. However, when we go to Revelation 18 verse 13, it talks about this city or Babylon being responsible for trade and commerce and the souls of men and slaves. So in understanding how that confirms the Roman Catholic Church as part of an apostate church, we can understand that, you have the Roman Empire first that goes in, invades, conquers, destroys, and then subjugates. Out of the Roman Catholic Church, you then get, out of the Roman Empire, you then get the Roman Catholic Church, where, Constantine later on springs up and says he converts to Christianity, but still has, pagan connections going on. And then in the 4th century, you get Theodosius and the Bishop of Rome getting the Lateran Palace, and many pagan practices introduced thereafter. So when we're dealing with this beast, or the woman that rides the beast, in essence you have, a religious entity sitting on top of this empire, and it basically subjugates people to slavery, or that will be part of it. So we can see how that matches up and that identifies. When we look at 1 John 2 verse 18 to 19, what it says in that verse, in those verses, is that they were with us and they departed from us. It mentions the Antichrist or Antichrists, and it mentions that they were previously part of the Apostle John's recognition of what was the church then. So when you put everything together and you look at the history which is unfolded under the Roman Catholic Church, dumb Diversas, the doctrine of discovery, and all the misery that has fallen on black people and people of West African heritage from since the transatlantic slave trade. We really get a deeper and a bigger picture. And it's that seems to have blinded a lot of people and distorted a lot of people's views on Christianity. People believe that the Catholic Church, because it identifies as Christian, is truly Christian. But when you understand that Christ says that we are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and to love thy neighbor as thyself, we understand that the Catholic Church could never, be seen under such actions like that to mirror Christ. So, that helps to kind of give further scriptural support as to, an apostate church. In particular, it's, as I've said before, it's pretty dangerous when you have something that claims to be a church or claims to be righteous that a lot of people are still not watching or conscious of how it operates. And over the last coming years and months, we've seen a huge ecumenical movement in the Catholic Church. We've seen a Jesuit Pope come into power. The Jesuits were part of a counter-reformation to bring back the Protestant Church to Rome. We've also seen of recent in Morocco, the Pope went there to sign a treaty, and he went down to Abu Dhabi. He has a symbol that was made for Morocco for when he went down to visit, which showed a cross and a crescent moon. And we know that Islam basically says that Christ didn't die on a cross, but yet it was a symbol that was made for the Pope, showing a cross through a crescent moon. Yeah, brothers and sisters, we've just got to be aware of what it is when it comes to the nature of a beast, and the beast just doesn't change. So just a bit of enlightenment there, and it just helps us to have sympathy, empathy, clarity, distinction, and understanding when it comes to apostasy. This is Brother Darren signing off. Hebrews 9 verse 27 and John 3 verse 16.